All right, all right, all right. I think we're good to go ahead and start here. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the stream. I'm not a professor, but you can call me Nap. And welcome on in. Hope everybody's having a good weekend so far. Hope everybody who's in America, hope you're having a great President's Day weekend. I hope, I hope you guys all get a full 3 days off this weekend. I do, thankfully, with my job, which I'm very happy for. I am very happy for that because I've had a busy weekend. These past 2 weekends have actually been very busy for me. So I'm happy that I'm happy I'm still able to have time to do this, despite all of that. Um, but yeah, hope everybody's having a good weekend so far. One good news that I think did I say I don't think I said this last stream because I don't think it had warmed up a ton, but it is properly like warming up here finally. Like it's snowy, like the snow is melting, and it was actually like there was actually some rain, which will also help melt stuff even more. It's I just love it. I love I love that all the snow and all the ice is going away, and I want it to stay away for a long time. I hope this is like the only like snowstorm that this was the only snowstorm that we got, and like cold front that we get this year. Because I don't know if I could handle another one. Because this one has been rough. But thankfully now it's like you can actually kind of do things outside. You don't have to put on like a million layers of clothing and like worry about like slipping on everything. But yeah, finally warming up. And one thing I did do this weekend, I will say, I won't say where exactly, just for doxing reasons, but I did get to go to a con yesterday, which is actually really fun. And I love this con in particular because this con has a lot of cosplaying. Like this con by far has like the highest ratio of like cosplayers and non-cosplayers at any by far of like any other convention I've been to. It's really cool. It's fun just to go honestly and just like people watch and just seeing all the different like creative things that people people are dressing up as. The one thing I do also really like about it is because this con takes place at a public hotel. And what's fun is that around like 3 or 4 o'clock is kind of when people start showing up that are like checking in, and it's so funny because the lobby areas and everything are right by the convention area, and it's like just packed with people in cosplay and everything, and it's really funny seeing people, like especially older people who have no idea what's going on, just walk in and see everybody all in these like crazy like cosplay outfits and everything, and just the looks on their faces are so funny because they thought, oh, we'll just go here for a relaxing, President's Day weekend trip, get to spend a little extra time out there, and it's just and it just yeah, it just ends up there in a packed place, just filled with cosplayers. And I really hope, because like some convention, I don't know about this one, but I know some conventions when they take place at hotels at night, they can be pretty like rowdy and like loud and everything. So I don't know how this one is in comparison, but hopefully they're still able to enjoy their weekend along with everybody else. But yeah, so that was the main thing that I've done since we last streamed. Yeah, nothing really else to report. One thing I will say is that I'm currently working on another short that should hopefully be up by next weekend. That's the goal as of right now, is for it to be up by next weekend. So look out for that on my YouTube channel, which is linked down below if you haven't seen that before, to go check that out, where I've already uploaded some other shorts on things that I've on things that I've researched so far. Let's see. I think that's it in terms of that. I think let's start talking a little bit about what we're gonna be doing today, because if you if you missed Wednesday's stream, it was a roller coaster. So let me go ahead and pull up. Well, first, let me make myself. Let me shrink myself down here. All right. So, if you are new, okay. Oh wow, this is a lot bigger than what I. Hold on. Let me make this a little bit smaller. Here we go. All right. So yes, so this is a photograph that I bought at an antique store. Has 24 people in it. From, you can see they're written at the bottom here. It was for a girl named Eleanor Metcalf's birthday party, July 1888. So this is a photo from 1888 that I bought in an antique store. And what makes this super special is that on the back of this photograph, which is this here, every single person in this photograph is listed by their full name. Every single person, and with a corresponding number as well, so that we can tell, you know, whose name goes with which person. We've already researched the first 4 people on this list. Harry Fosselman, Harry Lewis, Ruth Terry, and Marion Metcalf. We've found some crazy stories in the process, such as some sad, unfortunately, that both Harry Fosselman and Ruth Terry unfortunately died at a young age. And let's see, that Harry Lewis was a popular or like a famous kind of like he was an attorney, the city auditor, a public notary, and oh, and also on top of all that, he was a car dealer. He owned a car dealership because he loved automobiles when they first came out. And then Marion Metcalf had probably the most interesting connection out of all of these, is that she went on to marry a gold medal Olympic sprinter. Her husband, hold on, I have it here. Her husband, named Walter Texbury. Walter Texbury took part in the 1900 Paris Olympics and won 2 gold medals in sprinting, as well as a couple other silver and bronze medals in other track like sprinting events, which is just crazy. Just absolutely crazy thing that we discovered. But what we're going to be doing today is kind of going to be part 2 of last stream. Because last stream, we were trying to find number 5 here, who is a girl named Amy Brown. Now, what made this so difficult was the fact that before I started doing this project, I did a stream where I did like a preliminary search where I just did a really quick search on Ancestry just to see if I could find every single person on this list. There's 24 people in total. And I was able to find a majority of them, but there were 2 in particular that I was not able to find. It was Amy Brown here, and who I assumed to be her sister, number 23, and Edna Brown. Because no matter how hard I tried, I could not find for the longest time anything on Ancestry about an Amy or Edna Brown living in Taconic, Pennsylvania around this time period. I couldn't find anything. So I did early on in the stream find a couple newspapers that referenced her, that referenced Amy Brown, and it did lead to some some information. Um, hey, Wayward Bard, good to see you. Thank you for lurking. Hope you have a good day at work. Um, but we are basically I was only able to find just like newspaper records from her, and only newspaper records for her between like during like a 5-year period. And that immediately, like, I was like, okay, at least I have something. I know that there was an Amy Brown who lived in this part of, this part of Pennsylvania during this time period. But it was like only like 3 or 4 newspaper articles, and I thought, okay, I guess that's it. I guess that's all that I have to go off of for this. But then, right near the end of the stream, like maybe like less than a half hour left of the stream, when trying to research a bunch of, because I did find that there were members of there was a Brown family living in the area, like multiple like branches of a family with the last name Brown, just constantly throughout various time periods. And I kept looking through all of them, going back in time in their like history, like going through all their different genealogical records, looking at all of like their siblings and like to try and find possibly a male. I was basically trying to find a male member of the Brown family who had 2 daughters named Amy and Edna. That's what I was looking for. And I wasn't finding anything on Ancestry. So then I decided to look on the newspaper database again, just to see what other Brown like family members were living in that area, in that town, at the same time that I found those other articles about Amy. And one person that I did find was hold on, wait. I just realized I need to pull something else up. Hey Pirate, good to see you. Welcome on in. Hope you're having a good evening. I'm just kind of recapping what happened last stream, because I don't know if you were there at the end, but we were having a hard time initially of finding Amy Brown here in the historical record. And I'll kind of cut to the chase. Basically, it took a long time, but right at the end of stream, like after over 3 hours of searching on stream, basically I found her, I found her and her sister after so long. After 3 hours of searching, and I'm just going over real quick how I was able to do it. Where basically I discovered that there was a Reverend in the newspapers. I discovered that there was a Reverend John H. Brown, who at one point, who was a pastor in the Presbyterian Church, and had some and at one point was the Presbyterian pastor in Taconic, Pennsylvania, where this photo was taken, at the time that this photo was taken. So the next thing I needed to figure out is who John's kids were, and see if possibly this was a crazy lead. I honestly didn't think it was going to go anywhere. I did not think that John was going to be able to lead me anywhere. So then I basically found his obituary, because an obituary will list the name of all of his kids. And rather than just tell you what happened, I think it's actually better if I just show you. I did make a clip of it where you will see just, let me pause the music real quick. You'll see just how insane this was. Hold on. Is this... Here we go. Yeah, you're going to see double nap on screen. So, I hope this isn't too loud, but this is me reading the last part of the obituary. where he has since made his home. He's arrived at his wife, Sophia, one son, Arthur. Oh my god! Oh my god! He is survived by his wife, Sophia, son, Arthur, and 4 daughters, Mrs. Richard Whitsfield of Hackerstown, New Jersey, Mrs. Albert Ackerman of Athens, Jersey, and Mrs. Amy and Edna at home.
Couldn't even talk right.
We found them. Oh my god. Oh my god, we found them. Oh, after how long have we been going? Over 3 hours. Yeah, so that that was me at the end of stream yesterday. Or not yesterday, on Wednesday. Just ecstatic that we finally found them after over 3 hours of searching. And I was so prepared for the end of that stream. The lesson being like, okay, sometimes when doing genealogy research, you have to kind of know when to call it quits, and you have to know when to stop and move on. Because if you spend too long on one thing, you'll just be stuck forever and never get anything else done that you want to get done. So that is what I was going to say. But by the end of that, sometimes you just get lucky. So then the message into that stream just became never give up. And you could tell how excited I was because the mic quality went down and was peaking. But hold on, let's go ahead and let's go ahead and go to the classroom really quick. All right. So here's our spreadsheet of everything that we found so far. So also something else with yesterday's stream, not only did we find both Amy Brown here and her sister Edna Brown, so now they are marked off as being found, we also found in one of Amy's newspapers a reference to a Grace Dalrymple, spelt this way. So that means who was originally also missing. So that means now at this point we have at least one. I mean, it was just one newspaper, but it was something, and it proves that there was somebody living in that area at the time of the photo that did go by this name. And so that also means that of the 24 people who we're trying to find, now we are only missing one. We are only missing one person. That is honestly crazy. And I haven't tried looking up newspapers for this person. Sadie Weir is her name. If we can find a newspaper article of her, that means we'll probably be able to find her in the historic record. And that means we would have found all 24 people in this photo, which honestly, I was not expecting in the slightest. I was totally expecting I was totally expecting to at least maybe not find even a quarter of them. I don't know. It was just very, very crazy. Hello, Aeon. Welcome on in. Hope you're having a good evening. You caught us just as we're starting here. Today, we're going to be continuing where we left off on Wednesday, where we were researching or trying to find Amy Brown here, whose photo is above me. We were trying to find her in the historic record yesterday, and we weren't able to find anything until after 3 hours of searching. We finally found her at the last, literally right before I was going to end stream and kind of give up. We finally found her. And the way we found her, which I'll pull it up right here, it was actually this newspaper article right here. An obituary for her father, Reverend John H. Brown. So yeah, he was a pastor at the Presbyterian Church. And basically, and also what was crazy is it took me forever to even know what his first name was, J.H. Brown, because every single newspaper article I found for a J.H. Brown, it was just his initials. It was just this, Reverend J.H. Brown. It wasn't until I found this obituary that I discovered that he his first name was John. But I basically read through, this whole thing. It gave me a lot of good information. And then right when we got to the bottom down here, where it says he is survived by his wife, 1 son, and 4 daughters. And at the end here are 2 of those 4 daughters, Mrs. Amy and Edna, at home. So which is also crazy is that this also means that both Amy and Edna, both of which who are, hold on, wait, do I have? Oh, no, not that one. This one. I do, like, they all, see, Edna right there is number 23, and Amy right there is number 5. This also means that both of those sisters never married. Which is just a crazy coincidence. And also made it so, it's perfect because in terms of research, it meant that, like, I was able to know immediately that these were the right people. Mrs. Amy and Edna Brown right here. Because if they were listed, if they had gotten married, they would have been listed like their other sisters here, Mrs. Albert Ackerman or Mrs. Richard Whitfield. So, and if that happened, that means I would have had to, like, do more research right before the end of stream of, like, trying to figure out, like, okay, who is Albert Ackerman? Like, who did they marry? And it would have just been taking so much longer and everything. But yeah, and it also meant that because I now knew J.H. Brown's full name. I knew that his name was John, and I knew that his wife was named Sophia. I was then also able to do more research to find them in the historic record, which led me to this here, this 1920s census record, specifically when looking for Amy, which we now know her middle name starts with an R. You can see here John H. Brown, Sophia Brown, Amy, and Edna. And now look at this. We have all of these records now. We have all of these records to go through. So it also looks like that, just looking preliminary at these records here, the oldest census record I see for her is the 1900 census, which actually does make sense. Because we also discovered last stream that the reason why I haven't seen any 1890 census records for, like, any of the people we've been researching is because the Pennsylvania 1890 census records were destroyed in a fire in the 1920s. Which sucks because that's, like, probably the most important and most helpful census out of all the census years for this project specifically. But of course, we don't have it. So I think before we look at this 1920 record, let's look at the earliest record that we have, which is this 1900 census. So here it says they are living in New Haven, Connecticut, which I think I do remember seeing a newspaper article when I was looking up Reverend J.H. Brown that did say he was in Connecticut. All right, so let's go ahead and let's look at this record here. Wow, okay, so we got... Wow, 4 daughters. And I think the obituary did say they also had a brother. So the older brother might have already, like, moved out at this point. Okay, so yeah, so we got John Brown here, living in New Haven, Connecticut. Okay. And then he has wife Sophia, so his oldest daughter, Salenta, Adeline, Amy, and Edna. This says born November 1880. Edna says April 1883. Still works in terms of the photo, because the photo was taken in 1888, and we know that hold on, let me pull it up. Let me make that a little bit smaller. So yeah, so Edna is number 5 there. You can tell is definitely she's older than 23 here, who is Edna. So according to this census record, Edna would be 5, and Amy would be 7, going on 8, like 7.5, which I think makes sense, looking at both of them. Looking at both of them here. Okay, and let's see, let's find some other stuff. Okay, so John was born and raised in Pennsylvania. His wife Sophia was born in New York. The two oldest daughters were born in New York, and then Amy and Edna were born in Pennsylvania. Okay, yeah, and this, yeah, clergyman, student, Drexel, or Dryle. I'm not sure. That's probably the school that they're going to. And the second oldest sister, Adeline, was a librarian. Ooh, okay. And then both Amy's not, it doesn't say anything about her being at school, but it says Edna's still at school, which makes sense because she's 17. Let me just double check real quick that there's nothing on the next page. Oh, okay. Okay, so they have a boarder living with them. Ruth Wood. And Minna something? Is their servant. So they have a servant living with them. She was Swedish. And only been in the US for 5 years. Oh, and this person is going to Yale. This boarder is like Ruth is going to Yale. That's actually kind of cool. That they would let somebody stay with them, who's going to Yale. I mean, it kind of makes sense. I guess he is a member of the clergy, so you would hope that he would be a good person, hopefully. Okay, so let's go next to the 1910 census. All right, so 27 years old. Where are we? We're in New Jersey, Morris County, Mount Olive Township, Flanders Village, Mount Olive Road, which is probably a country road. Yeah, because it just there's no house numbers, which is frustrating because that means we can't find their house. Okay. Oh, interesting. Okay, so John and Sophie are here. Amy is the only one living with them. Edna's not there. None of the other daughters are. I mean, we know the older two daughters do get married because of the obituary. But Edna's not here. They don't have a servant anymore. Pennsylvania. Still going to be clergy. Is she working? Yeah, clergyman, Presbyterian church, which is right. Yeah, she's not working either. Female, white, single, so not like she was widowed or anything. And then, yeah, her mother, Sophia, had 5 children, and all 5 lived, which is great, actually. I wonder where Edna is. Okay. Now let's look at this 1920 census. Let's see. New Jersey, Essex County. Near Newark. Okay, they're in Newark. Yeah, John H. Brown. Sophia, and then Amy and Edna are all living together. 39, 36. Both of them, neither of them married. Oh, and we do have an address. 257? Yeah, 257. Ridge Street in Newark. Okay, so we have some houses that we can look up too and see if they still exist. Are either Amy or Edna working? Oh, artist. Not employed. Oof, ain't that the truth? Some things never change. But Edna is a teacher. Is he still working in the... Wait, I didn't even look. Is he still working in the clergy? No, he's retired at this point. And we know he dies... their father, John, dies in 1930. So this 1930 census... She's 49. Okay, he is still alive, but it's only going to be for like a few more months. Yeah. Yeah, their mother's 88. Their father is 86. She's 49. Artist. Own shop. Oh, wow. She has her own, like, art gallery. Director. Wait, what does that say? Director. What is that? What is fit? No, it's not physical. I thought it said, like, physical at first. Something. Treasury? Something. She's a director of something. But let's not focus. We're not, again, I have to remind myself, we're not focusing so much on Edna with this one. We're focusing on Amy. Edna will come in when we do that at a different time. Okay. And they're still living in Newark. Okay. Is that... Do we have any other later census? Okay, no, we do have a 1940 census. I'm assuming her mother's probably not alive anymore. She could still be living with Edna, or she could be living on her own. Wait. No way. Is this her? Born in Pennsylvania. She's a servant? How old is she at this point? Hold on, wait. She was 49. This one is 58. It's a little weird, but yeah. Single, never married. Companion and housekeeper, private family. Wow. And this is, I just realized this isn't Newark. This is East Orange. Same county, but different place. Wow. She went from having a servant in 1900 to being one in 1940. Unfortunately, I don't see a 1950 census on here. I did see this 1905 census that I accidentally skipped. Let's look at that real quick. Okay, looks like this one doesn't have the in-depth search thing as the other one does. Okay. These are last names. Okay, here we go. Yeah, here they are. Amy and Edna, John and Sophia. November 1880. Pennsylvania. Oh, physical training. That's what it is. That's what Edna was. Okay. Wow. She's like a PE, dang, a physical you don't think of like physical training or in like 1905. I don't know why. I just don't picture that as being, I mean, I guess it makes sense. You do need people to get in shape, or like, is it like a nurse, more of like a nursing kind of thing, like physical training? Oh, I wish, okay, I will say my goal with this stream is if we could find examples of her art. If we could find examples of Amy's art, I would be very, very happy. Where is this? Mount Olive. Okay. We'll need to look up where Mount Olive is in a little bit. Okay. So that's that. So we have a few other things here. We do have... Let's look at this church record real quick, because those can be like a bunch of different things. Strasbourg Methodist Church. Amy Brown. What year is this from? Oh, wait, hold on. Amy Brown. There's nothing else. There's no other information. I don't know if this is her. Especially considering that this is a Methodist book and her father was a Presbyterian pastor. I doubt she, especially because she never married, I doubt that she would have converted. I mean, I guess she could, but it just seems, it's not impossible, it's just unlikely. Okay. Let's look at this yearbook real quick, which I'm pretty sure is her. Because Amy Robertson, birth year. Oh, wait, look at this. Yale University. She went to Yale. Yale School of Fine Arts. (1902). There she is, Amy Robertson Brown, New Haven, Connecticut, 1193 Chapel Street. Okay. Is there anything else about the Fine Arts School, or is it just... Are these all the people who were in it? I wonder if there's like... Wow, she went to Yale. Okay, that's Department of Music. But yeah, that's her. Amy Robertson Brown. Wow, she went to Yale for... That's even crazier. She went to Yale for art. And by 1940, she has to be a servant to support herself. That's crazy. Wow, went to Yale. Okay, so now we have even more to look for. Can possibly look in those. I mean, I don't know if Yale is going to have anything in their records for her, but that is somewhere we can also look. Okay. Now there's this here, which is this marriage record. This could be, I don't think it might not be her marriage. It could be for one of her sisters, and she's a witness. Because they do that sometimes. This one. Not this one. Oh, wait. Okay, hold on. State of Washington County of Pierce. Amy R. Brown. I don't think this is her. Because this is Washington. Witnesses, Mrs. T.P. Brown? Residence, Tacoma, Washington. Yeah, I don't think... Because in 1920... Yeah, in 1920, she's in New Jersey still. I don't think this is her. This is a different Amy R. Brown because unfortunately it is a common name. And there is also a city directory here for Jersey City, New Jersey. Oh, I don't think this is her. This is from 1881. She'd be 1 year, less than a year old. Yeah, I don't see an Amy here. I think it's just because, what did it say, Robertson? Yeah. Yeah, she is not a... She is not... First, I mean, yes, her middle name is Robertson, but she's not a plumber. She is not a plumber. So that's also not her. That's, again, that just shows the problem of having such a common name like this. Something I am noticing we're also not getting here is a find a grave. So we might have to find that on our own in a little bit. And we also don't know where she was born. We know she was born in Pennsylvania. And then after that, we can get a pretty good track of where she is for the most part, from like 1910 or 1900 onwards. Okay, one thing I do want to try... Okay, so... We already have a decent amount of information, so I want to try looking up something else. Amy... Brown. Birth year... We know her birth year was 1880. We know she did live in New Haven, Connecticut. I just want to see what comes up. Because I specifically want to see... I want to see if we can find that... Oh, here we go. Look at this. This is her. Oh, and we have pictures of her father. And we have pictures of everybody else, some of her other siblings. Except for Edna. We don't have Edna. Her and Edna are the only ones who don't have photos. I don't see if there's anything else here that we haven't seen already. Okay, we saw those census records, saw those yearbooks. I don't think... Okay, yeah, they have this... Okay, this says her death was 1964. New York, New York. Oh god, if she died in New York, New York... Oh, that's going to be such a pain to find her in the record. To have the name Amy Brown in New York City. Oh god, that's going to be such a nightmare to find. And it's interesting, too, that, like, if she did die in 1964, we don't have a, What was I gonna say? We don't have a 1950. Oh yeah, we don't have a 1950 census for her. So by that point, who knows where she is? Okay. Okay, so let me go back here real quick. I want to look specifically, not family trees. Where's like, okay, no, not that. I want to look at yearbooks. Birth, marriage, death, military, immigration. Okay, hold on, I gotta change. I gotta make it so that it's similar. Plus or minus 1 year. There we go. Not family trees. Hold on. Hold on, actually, let me pull up then. Where's the Yale? Okay, here's the Yale University yearbook. I don't want to... Or, well, I can always come back to here from this. So hold on, let me... Okay, so you can do this whole thing. Can you... Is this thing searchable? And also, like, is there... Because, I mean, I don't know how many graduates Yale had in 1902. Commencement. Degrees. Oh, wait, hold on. So she should be in here. Bachelor's of Fine Arts. Oh, that's graduate department. Yeah, Master's of Arts. Master's of Science. Doctors. University prizes. Undergraduate Scholars of the House. Class of 1903. Junior exhibition. Honors and all those. Oh, nope, different brown. No. No. Honors in the academical department. No. No. Other people with the name Brown here, but not her. Because again, there are so many people with that name. Political science, philosophy, history, English. Graduation, dissertations. Is this whole thing for 1902? Because it feels like a lot if it's 1,000 pages. Oh, that's class of 1901. (1902). These are chemistry and engineering. Thomas Divine Adams. Earl Wayne Brown. Prize Award, Divinity School, School of Fine Arts. No, nothing there. Law School. Memoriam. Statistics. Class secretaries. This is going to be like the whole history of the college. Oh god, why do they have to make the societies page look like that? Why you gotta be like all crazy and creepy? Actually, hold on, let me go here real quick. I know it's Connecticut. Yale's in New Haven, right? Yale University. (1902). Oh my god, why is it so... It's 1,000 pages? Okay, maybe there's like a thing in the beginning that's like a... There we go, contents, okay. Front piece. The class of 1902. In memoriam. Former members and new recruits. Freshman year, sophomore year, junior year. The bicentennial. Educational. Debating, musical, social, religious, athletics, dramatics, literary, personal, potpourri, financial, future occupations, statistics of age, weight, and height, junior appointments, officers, future addresses. Okay, if that's just the first 100 and something pages, why is... I don't know what picture this is. If this is generally everybody or just like... Okay, hold on. Or let's go to Brown. I don't think she's gonna be here, but we can try. Oh. Yep, not the right Brown. Okay. Okay, no, I don't need that. Okay, hold on, let's skip forward like 60 pages because we don't need to go through every single person because we know she's not going to show up. Yeah. Let's go 90. 110. Okay, wait, hold on. And okay. More members, freshman year. Hold on. Okay, this actually is better. Okay, yeah, this is just that. Senior year. Okay, I'm looking for things that are like lists of like classes. Okay, these are like... Oh, these are all the... Look at that baseball team. These are like sports teams and stuff. Personal... Okay, 173. Senior class officer. These are all the different clubs. Okay. Bicycle club, banjo club, fencing, university gun club, golf club, hockey, cross country, all the different groups. Okay, future addresses. That was, I remember, one of the last things. And then is it... It looks like it's a lot of ads. Index of advertisements. Yeah, the rest of this is ads. Okay, when did the ads stop? What is this? Is this a different book? It looks like a cover. Oh, nope, it's just probably like it was probably like an insert that was inside of it, because these are all still ads. Wait, hold on, what is this? That's an ad. The Yale Potpourri. What is this? Is this a different, like a yearbook? Calendar. First term. Vacation. Corporation. Committees of the corporation. Faculty and instructors. These are all faculty. Okay. Senior class. She here? Brown. Jacob Brown. James Brown. No, she's not here. So it's what year was she? if she's not in the senior class. Hold on, is this a different? Okay, junior class, hold on. Brady... Thomas Brown. No. Okay, so not... She's not in the junior class. Is her class, like, actually not 1902? Okay, sophomore class. Ooh, Brennan, Booth, Bonnie. Fayette Brown Jr. Brown Bat. Yeah, she's not there. Next one have the freshman class? Maybe she didn't get like a degree, she was just taking classes. Because again, she's not listed here at all. Chemical Department, Sheffield Scientific School. I guess maybe these are different. These are all specifically the Sheffield Scientific School. Okay, graduate school. Oh wait, special students not for a degree. I guess, well no, I know this is still the other school. This isn't the fine arts department. So maybe she would show up there? Let me just... Yeah, definitely not. Okay, not there. So we can see if there's any change in like what the topic of this list is. It doesn't look like it. What's this? Okay, that's a divinity school, which she would also not be a part of. Yeah, medicine school. Okay, yeah, and then this is, yeah, around the area. Yeah, Yale Law School. Senior class. Middle class. Yeah, maybe... Because this is listed differently than the other ones. Right? Like this has where they're from. Special students. Yeah. Maybe she didn't like graduate from Yale. Maybe she was just taking classes there. I think we'll find out more when we get into like newspapers and stuff. Figure out exactly what's going on here. This is talking about, yeah, because this is talking about commencement. So wait, so what's the rest of this? That's class of 1903. These are all the different societies. Yeah, these are the fraternities and sororities. Glee, banjo, and mandolin clubs. Fortunately, I don't think there are probably that many banjo clubs in at Yale anymore. Okay, yeah, music department. Culture and enthusiasm. College choir. Okay, yeah, these are all like bands and stuff. This is just stuff that looks like it's just like around campus. Interior of Maury's. Huh. Yeah, this looks like it's just stuff around the area. Yeah, their pool if they got. Yeah, that's the debating club. Sailing club. One thing I will actually do. Amy Brown, New Haven, Connecticut. $1902. Yale? I just want to see if it shows up like more than one time in the yearbook. Hold on. Maybe get rid of the Yale thing? Okay, but if I change it to Robertson, does it come up? Well, we found it earlier. Why is it not coming up now? But it should come up in that state because Yale is in Connecticut. Okay, well, what if I get rid of the New Haven then? Okay, that's weird that that's not coming up. New Jersey Club. I don't think she would be part of that because she wasn't in New Jersey. She didn't move to New Jersey till afterwards. These all ads? These are all ads. All these last bit here are ads. Okay, the Yale banner. What does this have in it? $1902. Ads. Calendar. Oh, this is the next year. So maybe that's why this one's also in here. University directory. That's not for students. This is university, right? Brooks Brothers hasn't made uniforms in years, but I keep thinking about them. Oh, was that one of the ads? I think I missed... I didn't even register that. I haven't heard that name before. But then again, I don't know much about, like, fashion and stuff. God, how big is this directory? Or is this everybody from this class? Hold on. Go here real quick and let me go to B. Borden, Brown. Here we go. A.R. Brown. This is her. There we go. Okay, that is her. 1193 Chapel Street. Okay, F. And she also doesn't have freshman, junior, senior, or whatever next to her name. So I think that means that she's not, like, fulfilling a degree here. She's just taking classes. Because, hold on, what does this say? Following abbreviations are used. A, absent on leave. B, Berkeley Hall. F is School of Fine Arts. Yeah, so I think she's not... Okay, so she didn't maybe graduate from Yale, but she was taking classes at Yale. Because she doesn't have freshman, junior, or senior next to her name at all. So that's what I think is going on here. Hold on, what page is that on? Here we go. Yes, we got that. And let me pull up the other page again. There used to be a whole thing about military uniforms from Brooks Brothers versus LL Bean versus Abercrombie and Fitch. Teddy Roosevelt used to get his hunting gear from Abercrombie. Really? I didn't know they were that old. I didn't know Abercrombie and Fitch was that old. Like I said, I know nothing about fashion or, like, fashion industry, so... That's crazy. I had no idea that Abercrombie was that old. I just picture... Because when I picture Abercrombie, I just think of, like, them in malls. That's like... I picture them more as, like, an 80... Like an 80s, like, thing. They used to be a proper stylish outdoor company. Wow, I would have never guessed that in a million years, honestly. That's crazy. I guess you learn something new every day. Alright, so I think here, because now we know... So we know what's going on here is that she wasn't... I think what this means is that she... She doesn't have, like, freshman... She doesn't have a class name next to her name. So, yeah, so I think she was just taking classes there. I don't know if necessarily she was... actually like a member of like the graduating class. Now A&F is constantly getting embroiled in some sort of hypersex fast fashion snit every few years. I mean, aren't they the Abercrombie? That's like those are the people that had like the models out front, right? They'd get like guys, like shirtless guys, to like be outside and everything. Because like I don't think I've ever been in one now that I think about it. But I don't buy like fashion like clothes or anything like that. My fashion sense, if you ever wanted to get an idea, is basically clearance section at REI is how I would describe, or that and like funny T-shirts or like graphic tees basically, and that's it. Okay, I think we'll step back from looking at the Yale stuff. According to this, we do have a death date. Actually, no, we don't have a full date. We just have January. We just know that she died in January of 1964. Okay. We'll see if maybe we can find a newspaper article for her. With that, let's go ahead and start looking up some newspaper articles. So, unfortunately, as I said before, Amy Brown is a common name. And we don't know exactly where she was born. We know she was born in Pennsylvania, but we don't really know where in Pennsylvania. But first, let's look at Amy Brown. Let's go to Wyoming County. And let's specifically do, because what we found from the last stream was that 1888 to, it was 1892, I think, but I'll do 1895 just to be safe. Yeah, it was these ones. So these were all the ones that we found last time. Again, this was for the longest time until we found like this obituary article. These newspaper articles were the only proof that we had that an Amy Brown lived in this area at this time. Where we see Miss Jenny Thompson accompanied by Mrs. Guthrie Thompson, Amy Brown, Bessie Lighton, and Mabel Lewis spent several days of last week with friends at Beaumont, returning home Saturday. And I knew this was the right Amy Brown because Bessie Lighton and Mabel Lewis are also in the photograph. So that's kind of how I knew. There's a fairly well-known portrait of F. Scott Fitzgerald in what would have been considered an overly stylish Brooks Brothers uniform. General Pershing had fits about that. That's funny. Getting mad that like he's being extra with his outfits. Okay, so 1892. Yeah, this is. Oh wait, no, I forgot to. Hold on, I gotta sort these. Pull this first. Okay, yeah. Oh yeah, this one I do remember. This one. This is where she was vice president of the Juvenile Christian Endeavor Society, organized at the Presbyterian Church, which isn't surprising now that we know that her father was the pastor there. Not surprising at all now. Then there was this one. Yes, this is where she like took part in like the county fair. This is from Premium Awards at the 15th annual Wyoming County Agricultural Society held at the fairgrounds, and she won for making a slumber robe. Okay, and then And then this one, oh yes, this one was a program of entertainment for the benefit of the Presbyterian Church, which again makes sense because her father was the pastor. Where and then these are all like the different things, and there was a song, "The Rainy Day," which was sung by her. And this is also this article right here was the one that we found, where we can see here Grace Dalrymple. So that basically, this is the only thing we've been able to find so far that there was a Grace Dalrymple living in this place at this time. By today's standards, those uniforms wouldn't be too out of line. But the issue was that this was World War I, when you still had to acquire your own uniforms by yourself, and U.S. soldiers had a habit of buying uniforms that were too British and therefore too stylish for general Pershings. Wow. That is also crazy that, like, back then you had to buy your own uniforms. Like, that is crazy. Not only are you sending me off to war, you're making me pay. You're making me give you money for that. And then, yeah, this is the other article that we found, which, oh yeah, this is just a different format of this article, which honestly is better formatted, so I'm going to keep this one. Oh yeah, this is the thing we already saw. This is the one that she's... Yeah. Okay, so yeah, so that's all that we have for Amy Brown. Honestly, the rest of her life. Hold on, yeah, because if we go 1896 to, let's just say 1930. Nothing. So we know with this that she never really... And we know it's not, because at first when I was getting this, like this type of thing with her, like not showing up in newspapers anymore from this area, I thought it was because she got married. And so she wouldn't be going by Amy Brown anymore. But now that we know that she was, alive and never married, and her Amy Brown was her name the whole time, I think this really shows that she never really went back or was like super close with the people, here, people in Titanic. Okay, so now, according to the 1900 census, we know that she was living in New Haven by that point. And by 1905, she's in New Jersey. So let's try 1892 to 1905. Let's start with Amy. Okay, we got a few here. They go from 1894 to 1905. So let's see. And again, it's going to be, I'm hoping, Amy Brown is such a common name that I'm hoping there's going to be something in these articles that can like help us confirm that like yes, this is her specifically. Let's see. The games at the park yesterday were of the members of the Sunday school and were carefully arranged and conducted by G.E. Rowland, assisted by Frank Miller. The games and prize winners were as follows. 100-meter yard. Okay, so this is listing everything. Little girls race. Mabel Yale, Lily Guthrie, Dora Simon, and Amy Brown. Again, this could be her? Because she'd be 13. So she could have taken part in this race. I don't know what their definition of little girls is in this situation. So let's see what this one. Let's see. Clark and Summers. Very pretty wedding took place at the residence of the bride's parents. Interesting parties was Miss Edith May Somers and Herbert Clark, Frank Clark. Ceremony was performed by Reverend Mr. McLean. The maid of honor was Miss Louise Merwin of Milford. Miss Florence Grinnell was flower girl. 4 girls who held in place the ribbons of the aisleway were cousins of the bride. They are Miss Maud Miller, Miss Louise Miller of Westfield, Miss Bessie Brown, and Miss Amy Brown of Milford. Where's Milford? Oh yeah, I don't have... Let me pull up Google Maps real quick. Where is Milford, Connecticut? Okay, here we go. Okay, so it's not that far. But the record specifically says New Haven. They're specifically living in New Haven, and they are living at this address at 1193 Chapel Street. I mean, they could have. Again, it's hard. Do we know where this was? New Haven Morning Journal. I mean, this one could be her. This one, or well, Bessie. That's not one of her siblings. Yeah. So I don't think this is her. There's not enough. If anything, there's not enough to 100% confirm that it is her. Which I think is going to be a common theme we're going to see in a lot of these. Okay, here we go. Now this one we can confirm it's her because it's specifically an Amy R. Brown. Now what is this list here? Boardman School. 84 applicants for admission to the Boardman Normal Training High School, of which 80 were successful. The average standing, Professor Mather said, was more than he expected, that it would be in the class. Next year will be an unusually bright one. Last year, but 32 candidates made application at this time. Okay, so this is where, so she applied and got into this school, Boardman School. That's the high school. 1896. Okay. Which, yeah, makes sense. She would be 14, roughly. 14, 15? Okay. Oh, okay, what is this? Sunday school Christmas tree. There's always a beautiful Christmas tree at the City Mission Hall, and this year is no exception. Yesterday was Christmas Day for the Sunday school with an exercises at 4:30 p.m. The superintendent, Judge Judge L.W. Cleveland, presided. The missionary pastor, Reverend Mr. Mossman, read the scripture, Christmas story, and Reverend Dr. Harris of Yale Seminary offered prayer. After recitations by two little girls, Carrie Thomas and Amy Brown of the kindergarten department. Okay, this is not her. Because kindergarten. She's not in kindergarten at this point. She's in high school. So I don't think that's her. I think that's a different Amy Brown. Is this fresh air excursion? About 400 enjoyed the trip. Names a prize winner. Judge Cleveland, Sunday school. So yeah, this is that same group. The winners of the prizes of the games. Amy Brown. Actually, wait, hold on. I saw... Okay, here we go. Look at this. Milford is Amy J. Brown, daughter of Miss Julia Brown and Elliot A. Bosford. Yeah, to be wed. So all the Milford ones are a different Amy Brown. This is Amy J. Brown. So it's not this one, and that also means it's not this one either, because this is specifically at Milford. Yeah, so that's not her. Is this... That's also I think that's also a marriage thing. Well, the good news is if she got married, we're not going to see her. Yeah. That's the wedding. Yeah, that's another thing for the marriage. 1899, what's this one? First prize, Amy Brown. Is this the same group? Yeah, this is that same group. That's not her. What is this? Easter at the City Missionaries. I think this is the other Amy Brown. That's with this group. But I did... Oh, hold on. What is this? Oh, okay. Hold on. Amy Robertson Brown. This is her. Oh, this is them graduating, I think, from high school. So she graduated from high school in 1900. Yeah. Rodman and Hillhouse senior classes of these two schools graduate. And so over here, she's listed academic courses 4 years. And this is, yeah, this is everybody. So yeah, so there she is. She graduated there. Missionary in Pekin. Okay, that's not who we're looking for. 1901. Is this also... Went to Double Beach, enjoyable excursion at the city's mission yesterday. Yeah, this is, again, this is the other Amy Brown who is taking part in these things. Okay, here we go, 1902. Oh, okay, here we go. Prizes in the art school awarded as anniversary exercise is last night. Winchester Fellowship won by Miss Ellie Cole Westmore of Winstead. Several New Haven students successful. Interesting address by William A. Coffin. Okay, wait, hold on. The annual prizes. Prize awarded New Haven to Miss Amy Robertson Brown of New Haven for excellence of their first year's work. Okay, so they're just in the first year in 1902. So that's not even her like senior. If she did, you know, like graduate from there in 1902, she just went there. So she didn't graduate in 1902. Yeah, where she got an honorable. She specifically here got an honorable mention. Okay, yeah, this isn't her. This is an Amy E. Brown. Just want to double check. New Haven High School examination. Yeah, okay. It's not her. Adult class at the Church of the Remedier. Okay, yeah, no, that's not her. Oh, wait. This is, I think, a different Amy. Amy Edith Brown. Okay. Yeah, this is a different... Okay, so unfortunately this Amy Brown passed away. That's why there's so many in 1905 for an Edith Brown. She was in the newspaper a lot. Okay, but we do know by 1905, according to this census, Amy R. Brown, maybe that's why she didn't graduate from, maybe she never finished graduating because she had to move. Because her dad moved to Harvard. Or not to Harvard, to Mount Olive. Yeah, because by 1905, yeah, they are there. Yeah, so they are in Mount Olive Township. Where is that in New Jersey? Mount Olive Township, New Jersey. Okay, so it's in more of like the countryside. Morris County. Okay, so let's change this to Morris County. Really? Nothing? Okay, at what point do they move to Newark? Okay, by 1910, they're still in Mount Olive. In 1920, they're in Newark. Oh god, trying to find her in Newark is going to be a nightmare. I think I'm going to have to like narrow it down specifically to Amy R. Okay, hold on, let's try 1905 to 1910. Okay, these are both in Chapman, New Jersey. Nope, that's not right. That's just a mistake with the transcription technology. Items concerning friends, general news of local interest. Salem Cottage, the beautiful summer home on Long Hill. Very pleasant reunion recently. Yeah, this Amy Brown of Brooklyn. This isn't her. So is there nothing from her from this time? Because we know she's not there anymore by 1920. Well, let's just go 1920. Wow, really? I mean, I feel like if I just put New Jersey, it's just going to be too many. What if I make it specifically Amy R? Nothing. Nothing. Let's change this again to 1902. Let's just do 1900. Nothing. Okay, hold on. Okay, we do have some Newark stuff here. Okay, so there is some stuff here. Yeah, for Essex County, Worcester County, and Monmouth County. Okay, let's see. Hold on, what is this? Officials named for annual baby parade. Have passed the 150 mark and will grow rapidly in the numbers. A change has been made, the usual hours starting. Doll coaches, express wagons, costumes and fancy dress. Costumes in college colors. So, I mean, we see both Amy and Edna listed here. So they took part in this. I'm not sure what this... I thought it would be, like, actually, like, babies, but, like... Baby coaches and go-karts? Maybe that's just what it's called. It's not actually babies? Because, like, express wagons, costumes in fancy dress, costumes in college colors, costumes in burlesque, floats, pony turnouts. I think it's just, like, what the parade's called. I don't think it actually is literally babies. Okay. And where is Asbury Park? Okay, that's down here. That's not near Newark. That's 1909. And I think this is the same article. More prizes for the baby parade. Cups and trophies for Ashbury event. Or 8 for Asbury event. Grand marshals and division captains. Yeah, this is just kind of the same thing. Is that all this is? Is this the only time she shows up in the historical record under Amy R? Is from this single thing from... We got 2 things here from Trenton. Is it just the same thing? Yeah, costumes and call it. Yeah, it's just the same thing. Okay. Yeah, that's the same article. Oh, wow. Okay, reviewing the parade. So this is college colors. AIDS. Miss Amy R. Brown. Bud Lake, New Jersey. Okay, wait, they're actually from Bud Lake. Where's Bud Lake? Bud Lake is near Mount All. Okay. So they were living there. They were just going to this parade to like represent their area. Okay. That makes more sense. That makes way more sense. And this one, Society and Club News. Nature Students Meet. The monthly meeting of the Bud Lake Nature Study Club was held at the home of Miss H.C. Beecher, 590 Summer Avenue, yesterday afternoon. There was a discussion of trees, and each member of the club gave a brief account of one particular tree. Those present were Miss Beecher, Miss Donger, Miss Halstead, Miss Martin L. Cox, Miss Barry, Miss Johnson, and Mrs. Amy R. or Miss Amy R. Brown. Okay. Well, she was part of a nature club, but that's it. There's nothing else. Because again, I think if we make it just Amy Brown, there's going to be like way too many. Let's look specifically though at Essex County. Okay, Miss Amy M. Brown. Montclair. Amy Brown. Yeah, because all these ones that are Amy M, we know aren't her. Because these are all specifically Montclair. Now these ones are from Newark. Yeah, but these are the ones that we saw already, the 1909 ones. Or at least that one is. That's the one we already saw. Let me just double check this. Work of a trust society or altruist society. Altruist. Corresponding Secretary Amy Brown. Yeah, there's not really... Where's Montclair? Okay, Mount Olive is like not near there. Mount Olive's all the way over here. Okay, yeah, so that's not... Because we know by 1920 they're living in Newark. And so all the ones that are in or before 1910... Yeah, they're not... Those ones aren't her. Yeah. Yeah, whoever this Amy Brown is in Montclair is not her. I'm pretty sure. Let's look at this one real quick. Okay, yeah, Miss Amy Brown of Union Street. Yeah, that's not... So wait, don't we have their address when they're in Newark? Ridge Street. Yeah, they live on Ridge Street. Okay, yeah, and here, yeah, Miss Mary Margaret. Yeah, okay, these ones aren't... So yeah, that confirms that all these ones in Montclair aren't her, because this is a Amy M. Brown of 163 Union Street, Montclair. Yeah, okay, so that confirms that all these ones that are in Montclair aren't her. Which explains why after 1913, there's like no more. Oh, wait. Oh, Amy Brown Brewer. Glen Ridge. No. I saw Ridge, and I thought, like, wait, Ridge Street was where they lived. Maybe that could be connected, but it turns out it's not. Okay, so let's do... 1921 to 1930. Yeah, let's do Essex County. No, sir. What is that? Again, that's Montclair. Okay, that's something... This is some sort of accent thing. Both of them are. Okay, maybe we just make it just New Jersey again. Okay, nothing. Let's try R. Okay, nothing. We know because in 1930... Yeah, they're still in... Newark City. Essex County. Essex County does include that Newark, right? Hold on. Yeah, it does. Okay, and then if we just search Amy Brown. Atlantic, Gloucester, 6, Somerset. The Essex one we already saw, because I was... Yeah. Yeah, and these are Amy Browns that are... Alright, hold on. How about... This'll narrow it down. Okay. Okay, hold on. What is this? Mr. and Mrs. William Platt, Mrs. Daniel Brown, and Miss Amy Brown are spending the month at Oakwood Beach. Miss Brown has returned home for a couple days. Yeah, I don't think that's her. I know this is a real this is definitely a real Slim Shady situation. Just because, like, yeah, there's no. All these ones for. All these, like, different. It's such a common name. One of her grandmother. Again, I don't think that's her, because I think her grandmother, so that would be John's... Yeah, that's not... It's not them. Okay, so let's try... 1931 to 1940. And then in 1941, yeah, she is still in Essex. She's in East Oregon, and that's when she's a servant. That's when she's working as a servant. Wow, only one? And again, it's Montclair, and that's the wrong... It's the wrong one. And there was somebody in Atlantic County who had that name. What's this one? Competition Keenan Elks Contest. Final preparations are being discussed for a charity ball at Trenton Lodge, the Elks, nice in Columbus. Open to Trenton women is being held. Red division, blue division, white division, green division. I don't know what that means. And also, she wasn't living in Trenton. I don't think. Well, actually, no, she could have been. Because this is after her parents passed away. Because both of her parents passed away in 1930. Yeah, I don't really know. Again, I don't think this is her. Oh, no, yeah, this is not her. That's just a mistake in the transcription work. What is this? Because, well, where is Atlantic City in comparison to Newark? Yeah, Atlantic City's all the way down. Oh yeah, that's all the way down there. And in 1940, yeah, she still is in the same county. This is the same thing. Yeah, it's the same article. I was hoping that like maybe like her art would like show up in like some sort of thing, like she put her art on display or she had her own gallery or something like that. But it looks like that's not the case because I'm not finding anything. Let's see. Hello, Ocean. Welcome on in. Good to see ya. Hope you're having a good evening. We are currently trying to research the girl above me. Her name is Amy Brown, as you can see here. And unfortunately, because her name is Amy Brown, she has been a pain to find in historic records. Because that's such a common name. In fact, on our last stream on Wednesday, it took me 3 hours just to find the correct Amy Brown in the first place that we're trying to look for. I almost gave up. And then until right at the end, I found an article that confirmed that it was the right Amy Brown that we were looking for and was able to find a bunch of other information. How did I work out that she was the right one? Because it was this article right here. Because initially I found, I was not finding anything by her name, Amy Brown. And so I was trying to look for maybe other people with the last name Brown and like see if maybe there was some connection. And then I happened to find out that in the town that we were looking for at one point, there was a pastor named Reverend J.H. Brown, which it took me forever to find his obituary, to find out his full name, which was John Brown. And right down here at the end of his obituary, it says right here, he is survived by his wife and a few other people and 4 daughters. And right at the end here, it says Mrs. Amy and Edna. And how I know this is 100% them is because, hold on, wait, if I pull it up real quick. So we have Amy on the list here, number 5. But if we go down here, number 23, Edna Brown. So Edna and Amy were, so I was specifically looking for a family that had 2 daughters named Amy and Edna. And so that's how with this newspaper article, we were able to figure that out because he has 2 daughters that are the right name. Have you considered detective work? Honestly, I mean, that's one of the reasons why I love doing this type of stuff is because it is like detective work. Because God, how I felt, like I made it a clip on my channel of like my reaction to me finding this, because I felt like after 3 hours of work, it felt ecstatic and so satisfying. It felt so satisfying to find it after all this time. But that's because that is one of the pieces. Yeah, that is one of the reasons why I love it, is when you do this research and it's just that satisfaction of finding the thing that you're looking for, and making these discoveries. Yeah, honestly, it is like Where's Waldo? It is very much aware. That's what all of this research is a Where's Waldo? Starting with this photo. It's basically a Where's Waldo for all of these people. to try and find them. Okay, let's see. So far, we've been able to find some articles that talk about her, but because we know her middle name is Robertson, so we know her middle initials are. That's the only way that we can 100% confirm that a newspaper article is her, because it does have the R in it, in her name. But any other Amy Brown, we just kind of have to go by context clues, and most of the time it's not her. Sir Waldinius II. I mean, that'll be my other research stream. That'll be my April 1st research stream, is looking for Sir Waldo. Okay, so yeah, so... Actually, it's funny you bring that up, Flora, because I actually do have a different idea for an April 1st stream that I'm actually, like, working on, like, planning out. I have an idea that I really want to do. Especially because April 1st this year is on a Wednesday when I normally stream. So that's why I want to do it, is because it's perfect. It, like, perfectly lines up. So wait, just in like a month and a half's time, we'll see what that stream is. Okay. So yeah. So this. Yeah, we know based on the records that by 1940 she is still in New Jersey. She's a servant, actually, during this time. She's working as a servant. So let's try 41 to 50. I think, again, we're going to get so many. Anything from Essex County? Nothing. What about Amy R? No. Robertson? No. Okay, let's try 1951 to 1960. Okay, no, that's not her because that's Indiana. Let's try 1961 to 1964 because we know, according to that ancestry thing, she supposedly dies in 1964. Wow, nothing. Let's see. Curse my time zone. I got alert. Happy. Hey, thank you so much, Flora, for being here. I know it does, suck being in that late of a time zone, but thank you so much for being here. I greatly appreciate it. Get some rest. Okay, this is something from 1961 for New York. New York, Maryland, Pennsylvania. Stroudsburg, Pennsylvania? What is this one? I don't know if this is the right brown. Oh, wait. This is her. Shawnee burial for Mrs. Brown. East Stroudsburg funeral service for Miss Amy R. Brown, who died January 7th in New York City, were held Saturday, May 9th at 2:30 p.m. She has been cremated. She was buried at the family plot at the Presbyterian Church in Shawnee. She had been suffering from heart trouble for 2.5 years. Miss Brown was born and lived in Shawnee for 6 years of her childhood. She also lived in Wilkes-Barre, Taconic, and Gettysburg. Her father, the Reverend John Halleck Brown, was a Presbyterian minister. He was raised in Shawnee and was a minister there from 1879 to about 1885. Okay, so that's where she was born. So she was born in Shawnee, Pennsylvania. Miss Brown's aunt was the late Miss Mary Smith of East Stroudsburg. She was a cousin of Miss Catherine Flagger. Survivors include her older sister, Mercy Whitfield of Hackettstown, New Jersey. Also surviving are her sister's descendants, Adeline Ackerman, and her brother, Arthur of River Forest, Illinois. Her sister, the late Miss Edna Brown, is buried with her parents in the family plot. Okay, so we know from this that she lived longer than her younger sister Edna. And this is right that, yeah, she lived in Wilkes-Barre, Taconic, and Gettysburg. And we know now that she was born in Shawnee and that she was living in New York City. May 11th, May 11th. This is all the same article. Oh no, this is a different person. And so then we know that these ones aren't the right person because this person died in 1861. And not this one because it's Baltimore, Maryland. Okay. Wow, okay, so this gives us more information. Where is Shawnee? Shawnee, Pennsylvania? Shawnee on Delaware. Unincorporated community on the Delaware River. Smithfield Township in Moore County. Okay. So it's this tiny little... Shawnee Presbyterian Church. That's probably where... Is there a cemetery? Oh, there's a cemetery here. That's probably where she's buried. Hold on. So now that we know, because like I said, Ancestry doesn't have a find a grave for her. And actually, real quick, I want to look at what these newspapers are real quick. Okay, this is the one we already saw. We already found this one. What about this one? Oh, yep, that's the obituary we already found. And then this one. Cedar Cliffs play draw. Nope, this is not the right person. That is not right at all. Not even close. Okay. So wow, so this obituary didn't come up in this. So that makes me think maybe there's a possibility that her grave has been uncovered, maybe? Okay, hold on, let me pull up Find a Grave here. Okay, so Amy Brown. We know she died in 1964. And I'll just put Pennsylvania, because technically that town is, like, unincorporated. Lycombe County, Northumberland County. No. Okay, hold on. Can I do... What's the name of the cemetery? Friendly plot, the Presbyterian Church of Shawnee. Because this... There's the Presbyterian Church. This looks like the graveyard. It probably honestly just hasn't been recorded. It's a possibility that this plot just hasn't been... Or this cemetery just hasn't been recorded. It's a pretty good size one. Yeah, that's the Presbyterian Church. This looks like, these look like the older graves. Part of Sheffield County, Monroe County. Let me see if I can search Monroe County. Oh, hold on. Let me go back to the main thing here. John Brown Monroe. So many Monroe counties. Pennsylvania. Oh, Middle Smithfield Presbyterian Burying Ground. Hold on. Oh, no, that's not. That's not the right years. No. John Philip Brown, no. John H. Brown was his name. Yeah, I think that's what it is. I just think that this... this cemetery is so remote in an unincorporated place in pretty middle... Wow, it's like barely on the border. It's like right on the border. It's right on the border between New Jersey and Pennsylvania. She could like see Pennsylvania, like, or she could see New Jersey from her house probably, just looking across the Delaware River. Wow. That is... That is... Okay, so that is cool that we at least have that. But we don't have an official... Do we even know how old she was when she died? I mean, according to the census records, some of the census records, she was born in November of 1880. That's all we really have to go off of, because I don't think she'd been cremated January 9th. She was buried in the family plot. It just says, yeah, she just lived here for 6 years of her childhood. It doesn't say how old she was. But I think we can just do a little... If she was actually born in November of 1880, we can do the math. That if she died in May of 1864, she was 83. Yeah, she would be 83. Okay. Okay. So we got that. We can start filling out some of this stuff. I mean, again, it's not going to be super... We just know... Again, we just know November 1880 for this one. In Shawnee. Is that how you spell it? Hold on. Yeah. In Shawnee, Pennsylvania. Father. Another reverend, which is crazy. John H. Brown. Sophia. Sophia Price is her name, apparently. Sophia Price. Age at the time of the photo, she would have been 7? Yeah, if she was born in November, she would be... Yeah, she would be 7. And at the time, she was living in Taconic. Never married. Never had any kids. She was an artist, but unfortunately we don't know what any artwork she did because it's not referenced in any articles or anything. Which I wish, God, I wish we could find an example of some of her art or what type of art she did. She died May 11th. Oh, no, wait, okay, wait, I read this wrong. She died January 7th in New York City and was cremated January 9th, and then she was buried with her family in May. Yeah. January 7th, May 9th. Okay. Okay, so she did die January 7th. Oh, wow, she died oh, wait, hold on, not 1864, 1964. She died the same year as Marion. Wow, so they're like tied for age. Roughly. Yeah, because... Oh, wow, and they were both born like a month apart. Wow, so they're like really... Okay, so Marion did live like a few months longer. And she died in New York City. According to the newspaper article, she's buried at the Presbyterian Church in Shawnee. Church. Shawnee, PA. I'll just put not in find a grave. I'm not going to say grave missing because it is possibly there. It's just that it's just not in the database. We'd have to actually go there to like try and find it. And then notes Do I want to put any notes? I'll put the took classes at Yale. Yeah, I honestly, I think what probably happened is that she started taking classes at Yale. Oh yeah, I also need to add that she was a servant. Because I think what happened is that she started taking art classes in Yale, and then by 1905, they're living in New Jersey. So they probably moved while she was in the middle of taking classes, and she couldn't stay for whatever reason. She went with the family. Which really sucks if that's the case, that she couldn't, you know, finish her school. Okay, what if I change it to New York? Or, well, no. I guess Amy, well, okay, Amy Brown. If she died in January, let's make it specifically 1964. And New York. Amy Vanderbilt. Reverend Amy Brown. Let's just do all of New York. April, no. Yeah, it's not. Well, now that we actually wait, hold on. Now that we know where she was born, let's look. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, this says November 22nd. But where are they getting that from? Okay, this. Social Security Death Index. Okay, so we do have an official date then for her birthday. It was November 22nd. Hold on. This is... November 22nd, 1880. There we go. No, why are you... I think I will go back and like kind of reformat this later and make it kind of a bit better and organized. Oops, forgot to put not in find a grave, not it find a grave. But yeah, now that we know where she was born, we can start looking there, because it doesn't look like there's anything for her when she was living in New York City. Should I write Amy R. Brown? And let's just do 1950 to 1964. Nothing. Okay, maybe just New York in general? Wow, nothing. That's crazy. Hold on, Robertson? About New Jersey. Wow. She just... Amy J. Brown. Oh yeah, these are going to be a bunch of Amy J. Brown. Unless there are any here specifically from Essex County. Okay, here. There's these. Amy Randall. No. This is Montclair. This is not... She was Amy Brown of 44 White. Actually, Brown's Mills, the daughter of Miss Jean Brown. Okay, yeah, no, that's not her. Freak accident. 37-year-old woman. Nope, that's not her. Amy L. No. That's not right either. Yeah, she just completely disappears from the historical record. Thankfully, we were able to find that Pennsylvania one. Okay, so let's go back. We're gonna go way back in time. Oh, wait, no. It's not. It's Monroe County. Monroe County, Pennsylvania. Oh, wait, hold on. Strasburg is the one that had it before, right? Prisoners were served. Miss Amy Brown. Okay, yeah, no, that's... I don't think that's her because she's not living in New York City. Yeah, and this is the obituary. Okay. But now that we have that, let's change it to 1880 to 1890. Okay, nothing. Amy R. Brown. Robertson. Nothing. Okay, what if we put her father's name in? Or let's just do... It's always referred to as J.H. Brown. Really? Nothing. John Brown. It is Monroe County, right? I'm not misremembering that. Yeah, Monroe County. That's crazy that there's nothing... Okay, hold on. Reverend J.H. Brown. Okay, maybe if we just change it to Pennsylvania. Okay, yeah, the first thing that comes up is this thing from March 1881. Yeah, Wyoming County. Wow. Oh God. Wow. Look at how many for Wow. He was in like every single newspaper during this time. And then yeah, he did live in Wilkes-Barre too. Where's Wilkes-Barre? Hold on. What county is Wilkes-Barre in again? Luzerne. Okay. Which does make sense. Because he did live there for a little bit. But this first one is him in York. addressed a large congregation at the Presbyterian Church in the morning, taking his text from Matt. In the evening, conducted exercises. Okay. How far is that? That's kind of far from going from Wilkes-Barre to Shawnee. But Shawnee's here. And Wilkes-Barre is all the way... Yeah, that's pretty far. Not impossible, but like... Maybe by that point he had moved away. I don't know. Okay. So yeah, so there's nothing, because I was hoping that like maybe there's like he, you know, has a thing that's like, you know, oh, he welcomed a daughter or another daughter. Oh god, there's a lot more. Neighbor Luzerne? No, looks like there's a different J.H. Brown that's like also, yeah, J.H. Brown and Co. There's a business J.H. Brown. It's not what we want. Okay, so I don't think there's gonna be... Yeah, there's not gonna be anything about Amy's birth in here. Okay, okay, one other thing I want to do, which we didn't do earlier, which we normally do earlier. I want to see if we can find where some of these places are. So we do have some addresses, specifically for when they were in New Haven. So 1193 Chapel. Makes sense that that their father, a pastor, would live on Chapel Street. So 1193 Chapel. 1191. 1193 Chapel Street, New Haven. Might be it. That could be it. They've just converted it into a business. It probably looked more like that at one point. But they've added this front bit here for the business part. Wait, what's this? Next to it. That's just... Okay, that is just another house. Oop, get rid of all that. Is there a church nearby? Just wondering. No. Yo, Yale School. I mean, this is where the modern School of Art is, but that's just kind of funny that they're right there. I think that this is a modern building, though. This isn't where it was in 1902. This is a modern building. Yeah, so I think this is likely the house. Yeah, this is the house. It's just that it's been converted into a business. So the house building does still exist. So there was that one. And then not this one. Not the Mount Olive ones, because they were in the countryside. Okay, here we go. The Newark one. So 457. 457 Ridge Street. Or 257, sorry, it's 257. 257 Ridge Street, Newark. Oh. It might still exist. It might be one of these. Why is it jump? Hold on. Why is there's specifically a gap right here in the Google Street View that makes it so that we can't see exactly where that is? That's crazy. That's 255. 250. It's hard to read. That's 259. So if that's 255, that means that's it. This house right here. Okay, so that house does still exist. Okay. And then that's not Olive one. Is this, hold on. Okay, this is 4th Avenue. 386 4th Avenue. Fourth Avenue West? Is that it? That could be it. It would make sense because the census record shows multiple families living in this building. And that's what this building is. It's an apartment complex. That could be it. But it's not 100% clear exactly. That could be it. We could do the Sanborn maps, but unfortunately I don't think have time to do that at the moment. Now let's look at this last one here. Hillcrest Terrace 70. Okay, so 70 Hillcrest Terrace. Okay. 70 Hillcrest Terrace, East Orange. Yep, that's where we need to go. Okay, that's it. Yeah, that's the house. Honestly, it just looks like a regular house. It doesn't look like a house that would necessarily require a servant, but maybe they just needed help because they were... Well, yeah, how old were they? Oh, yeah, the father was 92. And his son, Charles, was 67. So, yeah, he probably just needed help with taking care of the... With just taking care of the father because he was so old. Makes sense. But yeah, we don't have a 1950 census record for her. And the fact that no one's been able to find a 1930 census for her, or 1950 census for her, I think kind of shows, yeah, that she really did just disappear from, like, the census records during this time. Because I think if there was a 1950 census, it would show up. Whoever did this would have found it by now. I think that's where we're going to go ahead and call it for today. But this was a good one. Wait, hold on. We almost had an ad start there, and I'm going to go ahead and snooze it now before... so we don't get ads when we finish. But yeah, that was really good. I really liked that. I mean, the fact that we started, like, thinking that we weren't going to be able to find her at all, like... I'm honestly, like, really happy that we found as much as we did. We know, again, when she was born, where she was born. Where parents were. To know that she was an artist and apparently a servant as well. And that she took art classes at Yale. Yeah. And she died in New York. So far, she's the person... As of right now, I think she's the furthest born from Titanic. And definitely the furthest, like, who died, like, away from a Titanic. Everybody else, like... Everybody else, at least was still in Pennsylvania. Or Titanic. Also, it's crazy that, like, of the 5 people we've researched so far, only 2 of them got married and had kids. I mean, to be fair, 2 of them was because they unfortunately died young. But let's see here. I think we're going to go ahead and call it. But like I said, I'm very happy that we were able to find what we did, considering we, started with all we started from was just it's all thanks to this one newspaper article. If we did not find this newspaper article, we wouldn't have been able to find anything. But yeah, and so that also means our next stream on Wednesday, we're going to be moving down this list again to number 6, which is Flora Fossilman. Now, this one's going to be a little bit easier because we know we've already researched her brother, Harry, who unfortunately, passed away when he was 17. But I do know based on the records that we looked up when we were looking up Harry, that she does live like to a full adult life and does get married. Um, so the beginning of this stream on Wednesday is going to be a kind of a lot of like a little bit of a repeat of Harry's stream, especially when we do like her early years when she's like living in the same house as him. But I'm excited to see what we discover. Yeah, always the barest of threads that sometimes leads to the craziest discoveries. All right, so let me go ahead and go to our office here. All right, let me go ahead and make myself a little bigger here. All right. So yeah, that's going to do it for today, folks. Thank you guys so much for being here. If this is your first time here, I'm not a professor. I do these types of streams every Wednesday and Sunday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But sometimes I do guerrilla streams where I decide to stream, whenever I want and do something different. So if you want to check out one of those streams, make sure you go ahead and hit follow so that you know when I go live next. I might be able to do one this weekend. But we'll see. However, I can guarantee that by the end of next weekend, I'll have a new short on my YouTube channel. So hopefully next time I go live next Sunday, that short should be live. I'm working on it right now, and we'll see how it goes. But yeah, that's gonna do it for today. And also, on note of that, make sure you go ahead and check out my YouTube channel link down below, where you can see a bunch of shorts for some of the other cool stuff we've found over the years. Or not over the years. I mean, no, the YouTube channel. How long have I been doing that? I should look and see like what was the most recent like thing. What was the first thing I did, and when did I upload it? It's probably coming up on a year, actually. It's getting pretty close. All right, so let's see if we can find somebody to raid. Let's see here. Yes, time definitely does fly. Let's see. Let's see here. All right, let's go ahead and raid this person. Their name is Honey Toasty, and they're doing a reading stream. Let's go ahead and raid them. Let's get the... Oh, hold on. Let's go ahead and get the raid messages going. If I can remember how to type. That's being my enemy right now. There we go, and then one for followers. All right. So yeah, that's gonna do it for today, folks. Thank you guys so much for being here. Hope you have a good rest of the day or night wherever you are. For those in America, have a great President's Day weekend. Hope you get the day off and enjoy it tomorrow. And yeah, I'll see you guys on Wednesday, where we'll be continuing this journey of uh, finding everybody in this photo. All right. Have a good night, everybody. Take care.